chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every weekday at midnight Eastern. That's 9 Pacific for about an hour each night. We'll cover 3 gun-related topics each night. That's different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube. And then we take the best of shows audio and post that as a podcast on iTunes. And we have hosts. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Got Jimmy jumping in from the Phoenix. Thanks for joining.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks.
And leave Spengy from Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
And I'm down here in Tucson. So I guess I didn't say thanks to all y'all for joining us live. We do try to make this a conversation, an interactive experiment in new media. So that's all pivots on the audience. Because none of us are trying to be famous. None of us want to run a radio show. We just want to talk about guns, and we like gun shops. So we talk about guns every single day. All right, we are on episode number 523. No, 520. It is Tuesday, so it is Tuesday, right? So we're going to be talking Second Amendment issues. Today we'll be talking about learning to have useful conversations with anti-Second Amendment people. Like we've been talking about that already today. And then our state of the state on Tuesday, today at least, is Florida. So we'll be talking about the state that looks too much like a gun for its own good. And then our stuff that we get into every day. So before we dig in, is there anything worth talking about? Happened overnight, one of the warm-up shows, what we call our pre-shows. They're like warm-up bands, except for podcasts and for us.
I heard that Ghost Tactical had a really good show earlier tonight. I have not listened to it yet, but I plan to.
When I texted you and said you're missing out on a good chat, you should join it, and said I would join whatever lame chat you were doing at the time.
That's true. I did not have that tab open, so I did not see that message until later.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it was pretty decent, and it was basically copying off of our topic, so he stole our topic and tried. It was a good attempt at trying to cover our topic.
But we'll do it way better.
These people that can only handle doing a show once a week, right? We're not going to call them lesser podcasters. We'll just call them weaker podcasters. They can only handle one of our topics. We handle 3 topics every single day. They will do a show once a week, and they'll do it with one topic. But you got to give them credit for giving it a try. They're really working at it.
Yeah, I agree. That's, I'll give them a pat on the back.
Nice
kind of like you would a small child.
It's kind of like
when we speak through the 3 topics.
I feel like it's when you put clothes on a parrot and you make them like lift weights or walk around a bicycle. It's funny. Entertaining. Sorry, Jimmy, I cut you off there.
No, sorry. I find it entertaining that we shoot out 3 of them in about the time it takes for somebody to burn out 1.
Yeah, talk about yourself doing hours a day. Pathetic. But hey, it's that you share your internets with other people. I like that. Not like Al Gore tries to hog them all himself. They're just lucky we don't all get paid according to how much time we spend broadcasting, because then we'd be super rich. Think about how rich Bob would be.
Yeah.
What do you want to think about a Canadian having that kind of money?
Oh, man, I'd become the king.
King of Canada. This big pile of money, lording it over everybody, throwing money down to the little people.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be the human DuckTales guy. Scrooge
McDuck.
Throw
money down at him, but a little note on there saying, throw my money back at me.
Oh, just having piles of loonies and toonies I could go swimming through. Oh, man.
All right, I don't know what happened at the beginning of today's show, but we'll blame it on Smeggy because he doesn't come in around that often, so it's Smeggy's fault.
Sorry.
We'll dig into Second Amendment issues, though. One of the segments that was stolen by another chat earlier today. Multiple chats earlier today. Learning how to have useful conversations with the anti-Second Amendment type. I feel like we could just go back and play Smeggy's show for a while here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, Maggie, why don't you just tell us what you guys discussed? Give us an in-depth from both sides, all the different viewpoints people had.
Oh, geez, I got to remember stuff now.
You didn't take notes?
No, not at all.
Well, a good host takes notes.
But anyways, like pretty much, I would say that the biggest thing when talking with aunties is to at least be able to see their side of it. Not, I mean, not necessarily agree, but there was some quote that I horribly butchered earlier, and I'll butcher it again right now. It was something about, to understand someone's point and not agree with it is a true sign of wisdom, or something like that. And I think that is important. You can at least say, okay, I see where these people are coming from. I get their perspective.
I looked it up on the internet, and it was actually someone who can accurately quote what they're quoting is a sign of it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not intelligent. Whatever. I don't care. But I still have a point of view, darn it. Anyways, I mean, the biggest thing is being respectful and really trying to figure out, like, whatever angle they're coming from, and then kind of catering your responses to something that they will react to. I mean, I know we've said it before on this show and many others. Shouting shall not be infringed in someone's face will pretty much never change someone's mind. There may be one person that works on that goes, oh, good point, and walks away, but I truly doubt it. And so the better thing to do is figure out what angle they're coming from, sympathize with them a bit, maybe even find a little bit of common ground, and then educate them onto what they're missing. Because a lot of times the stuff is based on misinformation or twisted statistics, or even just, quote unquote, common sense. It seems like if you have less guns, there'll be less crime. Now, we know the opposite to be true, but it feels right. Like, if you get rid of them, then crime will go away, that type of thing.
Right. I mean, and that's probably where, I know you forgot to mention your spreadsheet, but that's probably where you want to have a spreadsheet. Have your sources at hand, right? Like, I don't know whether we need to print out a card, but have your sources at hand. So, when they go, where do you get that statistic? You can go FBI crime stats, and you can find them here, and, give them the web address or whatever, the shortcut or the link or something. Maybe have them on your phone, right? And
I can see Night Strike when he's in the discussion with somebody. It's like, and then pulls out a little card, unfolds it, like out of his wallet, like unfolds it. Shall not be infringed. And folds it back up, puts it back in his wallet.
Let me refer to my notes here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Shall not be infringed.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Is because they're always throwing out their facts, which if you then fact check are wrong or just made up.
Whereas, yeah, their facts are like, take a number and then say there's been that many school shootings this year.
Yeah, exactly. Because they consider someone committing suicide in the parking lot a school shooting. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I that is a decent idea. I think that if you're just in a regular conversation with, whatever, someone you work with or something, and you all of a sudden show up with, your spreadsheet or your things, although I do agree with you that is a useful resource. I don't know. I feel like if you're just talking to like a regular person, and then you showed up with all these, flashcards and different things, charts and graphs and whatever, and they're like, dude, I was just, talking, like, this isn't a formal debate. Like, I don't know if they'd either feel like you ambushed them or something, but definitely at least have a general idea of where the stuff come from. And you can say, hey, just Google FBI crime stats. Like, do your own research. I can steer you kind of in the right direction, but I'm not going to sit there in the middle of a conversation that's casual and say, go to www.blah/blah/blah-blah-blah.this.that. Like,
what I'm saying, have them in your phone.
No. So I don't know why you're even coming up with this advice. The concept is sound and the core concept is good to go, but why would we say everybody should go out and come up with their own list of links? That's crazy. And who's going to write it down on a piece of paper? So every second matters, or someplace else that people are getting together, but share that and have it on your phone or whatever. I mean, I guess if you really want to print a list somewhere, but you could just have a link like that on your phone. And why don't we make something that is a anti-friendly list of facts? that isn't like, here, jam it down your face, here's an NRA link, but maybe something that's like, did you know? Here you can verify it from the FBI. Did you know? Here you can verify it from the CDC, and send people to just the CDC and the FBI.
Yeah. So
But
they
anyway.
get just the real information, not other people interpreting it.
And then put it someplace where we can all use it, and so that it's constantly updated by the group and it's accurate and up to date. So if something changes, everyone knows about it, and if you want to go grab it, everybody knows to go grab it from like the Every Second Matters page or something. At least I'd rather steer it towards that than just theoretically, let's all start preparing our own resources and then.
Right. No, I really like that idea of Every Second Matters, and maybe even categorizing it for if they say this type of thing, these are some links. If it's this angle, these are the links, that type of stuff. I know when I was arguing with the guy I worked with, I had that stuff at the ready because a lot of times we'd argue through like emailing. Like he'd find some article, he'd email me the link, and I would bam, here's the link, shoot it right back to him. Here's the actual FBI. Here's John Lott's research. Here's, whatever type of chart, picture, whatever the thing is. So that at least because we were doing it over a medium that makes it easy to send links, it made sense. But like having a conversation one-to-one like in a diner with your friend, it's kind of weird to shoot them all the links. But yeah, pulling up on your phone, be like, here's a nice, easy description of it. I think that's a good idea.
In one of the warm-up shows, Ghost had a good point. I don't know if anybody's ever brought up before in the years of having these kind of discussions. And their discussion was, how do you have these conversations, or how do you have effective conversations? Oh, wait, is ours effective conversations? Theirs was how to have a conversation. I don't know. He copied off.
I thought it was like how to be 2A in an anti-2A world or something.
Like how to do the topics of the Daily Gun Show, but a couple hours earlier. That's what we should do. But anyhow, he had a great strategy. He's a Marine, of course. He knows how to just cut to the chase. And his strategy was simple. When you're having this conversation with someone, or a discussion or debate or whatever you want to call it, ask them their position. Done. Now you know where they're coming from, because so often people are like, I challenge your position. You're like, here's my line in the sand. And then they get to throw all their attacks on you. They get to spew out, regurgitate all the stuff that they've been programmed to throw out to your points. So we can do it the other way around. Let them play their hand, and then we can regurgitate all the points that we've come up with to challenge their stupid positions that are wrong.
Right. One of the things I like to do when especially if it's a general statement like, we should do something, I'll say, what are some specific policies you think would work? And so at least then they have an idea, well, what if we got rid of magazines? What if we banned semi-autos? Blah, 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 whatever the thing is. And then I can refute those of saying why it's not a very good policy. Like that's not going to solve whatever issue it is that we're talking about. And then maybe they'll move on to something else and I'll do the same thing. So it's similar to that of asking like, where do you stand? And let's figure out, and like I said, I like finding common ground. I tend not to have very much of it, but it's like, we can all agree, we want human life to be preserved. Okay. Let's say that's our starting point. How do we do it? And then go from there. So it's less adversary. It's one thing if you're on stage and debating, and then, it's you say your point, they say theirs, you go back and forth. You never change each other's mind. Maybe someone in the audience changed their mind. But when you're talking one-to-one or even to a couple people, you don't just want to be necessarily, you're acting like you're on a debate stage. Like, oh, I win a point for that one. I like, classic college scoring.
I don't know who said it in Ghost Chat earlier, but somebody said you don't win the argument by being right. You win by influencing other person's decision making, right? So, being like, haha, you said AK-15, haha, walk away correct. Like, I know what it really is. You haven't won anything. You've just been correct in front of people. Right.
And sometimes that comes off, oh, look at this know-it-all, like he's just being conceited. and then people stop listening to you if
Well,
you
they
can.
don't even know because they don't care. AK-15, big deal. What do they care? And then you say, it's an AR-15 and walk away. And then they're like, okay, well, whatever. It didn't impress them at all. They could care less, and you haven't influenced their decision making. I guess that's
Right.
you're not even
No,
doing anything.
I completely agree with you on that. You've said that in the past, is we need to stop getting hung up on the little stuff like, haha, you said clip, therefore I'm right. It's like, no, in their mind, you haven't done anything. So, again, for that type of thing, though, I think we brought it up again earlier, was at least point out, not just say like, haha, you're dumb, you said the wrong thing, but kind of point out the underlying, what you're implying with that is basically, if you don't quite have the knowledge of how this stuff works, or you haven't done enough research, or, how can you say that your ideas are really that well informed? Like, you're kind of being ignorant on the subject. So maybe we should take some time to educate on the actual topic, and then you can make up your mind from there. But saying it in a nice
is that
way.
my point from before? Are you stealing my point from before
I
now?
believe I was stealing your point from before, yes.
That you butchered it. So I don't know if I like your angle on it. My angle was, they come around and they go, blah, 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 whatever. They say stupid. And then you go, haha. Instead of saying, aha, I'm right, because I figured it, I'm correct. I understand how your jargon or your nomenclature is wrong. To say, hey, use that as an opportunity to challenge their knowledge on the subject. And then I don't think it's necessarily like you win if you show that they're ignorant. I think that by challenging their validity on it, you do two things. One, you show them that you are aware of the subject matter. So if they want to come have a discussion, then come prepared, right? But I hope that other people might listen and might hear that challenge, especially if you're doing it in a smooth way, right? Like Jimmy would do it, so that they go, oh, and then everybody listening is like, yeah, what am I listening to that guy for? He doesn't know what he's talking about. This other guy clearly knows the subject. So therefore their opinion must be more valid.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. It's on the how you approach it, I guess, or how you go about it. Your point that you're making, also tone of voice, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I've had a completely opposite approach though. I've been,
just punch them in the gut, say 2A and run off.
Pretty much tip them over. Plus, it's easier in the desert. Also, I could carry around pocket sand. Line.
I never thought of the pocket sand. That's awesome. Pocket sand at them, and then when they're like, push them over. 2A.
I think you have to yell master
backwards
when you do that, though, right?
Huh?
You guys remember Master Fuji and the wrestling days? He would throw salt in the opponent's eye when the ref wasn't looking.
Yeah, that's all you need. But no, seriously though, I've been going about it kind of differently lately, just because you're arguing with the anti-gunners, you're arguing with me personally anyway, than online, and they're kind of ruthless in their I don't want to say attacks, but in their argument, I guess. They're kind of ruthless. They just go at you with crazy stuff, and like you guys were saying earlier, their statistics are all skewed, and it's hard to get somebody to say, hey, you could look at this site, cite this and cite this, when they're just citing, like headlines from Facebook or memes or whatever, so that they thought was clever. I mean, it's really hard to combat a lot of that. So I've just been going at it completely. Once they start throwing out crazy, weird facts, I don't even want to hear it anymore. That's the end of the conversation.
Well,
which I know it's not right, but
No, I mean that's the thing though. Like, who was this? Psycho is just saying that's when I get heated and lose my temper. Yeah. So at some point we got to know ourselves, right, and be like, all right, this is done. Like this ain't worth life. Spending my life. But I'm gonna end it here because I think we could go on and on. We got all kinds of good points from those warm-up shows. So take the points from this one, run your own show, copy off of us like the other shows did today. That's what it's all about. But I think I was going to close it with Minuteman University. One of the big things that I really want to do over there. Ghost asked the panel earlier how to like opinions on talking to antis or strategies or something. I forget what he actually asked because I don't listen. Try to Yankee it when I'm in there. So anyway, this is one of those things that after years and years of all this, I am getting sick of the same old, same old. There's, what do you say? You know, you go through something your first year. So 2013, it was fun, not fun, but it was encouraging and enthusiastic. No, it was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was enthused. I was enthused after the power that the grassroots was able to muster. There was no guide, and that's why I get so sick of people that are like, I wish we could get, and I'm not picking on Midnight because he's the one who said it earlier, but the thought of we need to get everybody on YouTube together and then we can, because bullshit. No one's ever been all together on YouTube. The only time people were all together on YouTube was when we were all standing up against Obama, and that was definitely no one coordinated. That was the power of a bunch of people getting up and saying no in a platform where we all had megaphones, and then we all looked at our megaphones and listened to the massive echo we just made, or the massive noise we just made, and all kind of blinked and looked at each other and went, wow. And then a whole bunch of people decided to go turn that into money, and a bunch of other people decided to try to keep a conversation going so that we could try to harness that. And that's what I feel like I've been doing for a couple years. And 2013 was fun. 2014 was frustrating. 2015 was getting annoying. And all this time we're having, infringements coming. We're defending against infringements and so forth. Nothing as big as 13, but nonetheless, we had plenty of them. And it was, like I say, challenging at first, and then frustrating, and then ultimately frustrating. And now after this cycle is repeating itself, it's ultimately, it's more than frustrating. I'm getting angry about it because we've had people, how many of you listen, people that are listening, 28 of you people, how many of you were actually paying attention to YouTube in 2012? I doubt it, that many of you. People just, you evolve, you get into DVDs, you get out of DVDs, you get into cable TV, you get out of cable TV, you get into your phone internet, you get out of your phone internet. Like, people get into stuff and you sometimes you stick with it, but a lot of times you keep moving to other things of interest, or your life moves on, or you have kids and you can't do stuff like you used to, all these different reasons people's lives move on. So I suspect we're looking at waves of people coming through the platforms like YouTube and Facebook and just the internet in general, and being Second Amendment advocates, or just being interested in Second Amendment stuff online in general. So what I'm seeing now is, I think what I'm seeing is cycles of people moving in, getting into the movement and getting frustrated and leaving, or just putting up, shrugging their shoulders and walking away because it's too big a thing. But very few people stick with it and continue through. And I'm just saying I've been around for a while watching this and trying to be part of this conversation, right? Going to the gun rights policy conference over the years and stuff. So seeing these patterns repeat isn't winning. That's just getting into a cycle of routine, right? That's just becoming an opponent that's what's the word I always use? A consistent opponent, or like an expected opponent. What's the damn word I'm looking for? An opponent who does exactly what you expect, and you're just dancing. It's like having a dancing partner, and that's, I think, some of the frustration people are getting with the NRA. I think you got to go rogue at some point, change it up. And that's where I'm thinking Minuteman University is what I was getting to. Minuteman University is hopefully going to be that we can archive some of this stuff and move forward, so that if we don't all have to learn how to talk to antis again. This is something that we've talked about in 2012, or not 12, but 13. I know we talked about it in 14 because I was really interested in it, and I never actually wrote it down. Just busy with stuff going on, and figured somebody else would do it. Now here we are in 2018. I'm not aware of anyone having done it. So that's one of the projects I'm just going to do. So unfortunately, we're probably going to get quieter and quieter as a platform, not a platform, but as a project. But that's what I'll dwindle out doing, I think. Anyhow, that's one of those things. This point of getting better at communicating, I think that's something that everyone can contribute to and everyone can learn from. And the same way I'm an advocate of people getting out and being your own voice as Second Amendment, so that I think that was my other point earlier, to answer the question for Ghost, how do you talk to an anti? You don't have your conversation in the ambush point when they stage the conversation. They only want to talk to us about guns when we're defending the position of a horrible person, right? They want us to be in the position where our defense of firearms is, in their eyes, a defense of horrible actions. So that's ridiculous. That's not the time to go into a discussion or a debate, or especially a debate for your rights, correct? So we have to have these conversations in our own turf. And so that's where I think learning how to have these conversations effectively and skillfully will be just as important as our efforts in getting, I guess that's where I was going, is, getting our Second Amendment content out there in the world puts us in a position where we're not just starting the conversation with them when they want to, but instead the conversation is continuing because we've had a conversation going 24/7, 365. So they don't get to just come along and drop a gun conversation on the world. They just get to come along and address our ongoing conversations, little conversations like Clover's text saying, be the change, right on. Anyway, I'm preaching, so I'm done. And that was my long ass way of getting out of that segment, right? So why don't we move into the wild card? Oh, it's Tuesday. I just blew out the wild card segment. We can move into State of the State and still be cool.
Well, we can still do my wild card. It only takes 5 minutes.
All right.
Or you don't have to. I guess you don't like it.
Fine.
Before we do that,
Fine. People can say stuff on our show.
I mean, whatever. But before we do that, we like to do the member of the day.
The who of the day?
The member of the day, the Gun Channel's member. Is that the right one?
I thought you said.
I forget what you said earlier.
The number of the day? What are we, Sesame Street?
Yes, today's number is 42. And anyways, I think this is the right person because I forget what G said earlier. But today we're going to, well, I guess it's more of a show, but go with Caliber Corner and Travis P11.
What? We're unprecedentedly switching the member of the day from like doing a
Please, baby, really? Right? You're just like switch it up? What, did he pay you?
No, that's what G said earlier today to do, I think. Did I get the right person?
We did. All right, so yeah, Travis's birthday. Happy birthday. And thanks for doing shows on Gun Channels.
Yeah, Travis is a cool guy. He does his own podcast called Caliber Corner. And yeah, he does a bunch of other videos, tabletop reviews, and a little short, whatever, YouTube videos and stuff.
And from what I understand, in between podcasts, as a service to the community, he educates the youths.
Oh, that is a true statement. Yep, he is a teacher who is pro arming teachers in schools.
And and like G was saying, he works on an Indian reservation educating the youths. So.
Oh my God.
What?
Bob.
Anyways, Travis is cool, and happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, Travis is definitely a good dude. Sorry about Bob.
I've been neglecting the Instagram side, but Falling Hammer and Clover Tack are over there chatting it up. Appreciate it on the Instagram. Better than stupid YouTube. Although YouTube lets us broadcast, so stupid YouTube.
And necessary evil.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
YouTube masters, and you know what'll happen.
Anyway, so getting into our self-defense story of the day, which we started last week. I don't know. People seem to like it, so I'm going to do it. And this one, it comes out of Florida. Emergency dispatchers heard gunshots during a 911 call as a Florida man who was reporting an intruder had to defend himself. The homeowner saw a vehicle enter the driveway in some place. 3 men exited the cars. 2 of the assailants hopped the fence leading to the backyard. Resident grabbed and loaded his shotgun and called 911. He told the dispatchers the bad guys had a brick and were trying to break the window. Then he fired several times as one of the intruders entered the home. The wounded man died and his accomplices fled. The armed citizen will not face charges. And that's from South Florida Sun Centennial, Sunrise, Florida, December 1st, 2016. So there you go. He called 911. He was waiting for them to show up. And unfortunately, the bad guys got into his house before 911 showed up. So he had to take his defense into his own hands.
And that's why he used a shotgun. They work.
Well, he probably used whatever he had. So, see, didn't take too much time. And we can go ahead and shoot right on over into the state of the state. What's the state of the state today, Jimmy?
I feel like
I feel like as a service to our viewers, we should let people know if you have children, you might want to have them leave the room, because we're going to be talking about a state that looks a lot like a handgun. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's right. It's Florida today, actually. So yeah, you guys, earmuffs, eye muffs, all that. Let's see here while I pull this up, and there we go. So today we are doing Florida. Need a state license to purchase? No, on long guns or handguns. There's no relevant status. Firearm registrations? No for either one. It is a felony under Florida law to create, maintain, or publish any list, record, or registry of legally owned firearms or law-abiding firearm owners. Owner license required? No, on long guns or handguns. Assault weapon law? None. Mag capacity restriction? I don't know if that's changed, but as of now, it says none. Concealed carry license? Not applicable for long guns. And yes for handguns. Allows concealed possession of handguns, electronic weapons or devices, tear gas guns, knives, or billies, but not long guns or machine guns, per Chapter 790.06. Concealed carry only, no open carry of firearms allowed, even with license, except when hunting, fishing, camping, or while practicing shooting and while traveling to and from them activities. Open carry, no, as I just said from above. State preemption of local laws, yes, for both long guns and handguns. NFA weapons restricted, no. Making, processing, or possessing, throwing, projecting, or discharging any destructive device or any attempt to do so is a felony in Florida. Peaceable journey laws, no. Federal rules observed. Duty to inform, no. Florida law does not require one to disclose one's possession of a firearm on contact with law enforcement. And background checks required for private sales, no for long guns and handguns. And that is the nutshell of Florida.
For now.
For now.
Yeah, and so I guess that means I'm up, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that's going on in Florida, whether it passed or introduced or whatever. And I'm actually going to go back in time before we get to the elephant in the room. So on May 8th of 2017, there was actually a big win for gun owners. 3 different bills passed and were headed to the governor. So Senate Bill 128 was a burden of proof, which it restores the presumption of innocence in a self-defense case, putting the burden of proof back on the state. It passed the House, then it passed the Senate, so went on to the governor. Senate Bill 1052, the justifiable use of force. I guess there was some weird language in the original kind of quote unquote castle doctrine law, and it was being interpreted that a person had to be under attack in their own home before using self-defense, and that changed it more to if there's someone in your house, you can use self-defense because you can, understandably assume that they're there to do you harm. And then this is a small one, but House Bill 467 basically lowered the CCW license fee. The initial fee went from $60 to $55, and the renewal went from $50 to $45. So, okay, save $5 every 7 years, but hey, a win's a win. So then it's pretty much nothing happened gun-wise in the state of Florida up until January 25th, where there was 2 different bills, one in the House, one in the Senate, that has to do with restoring the right of private churches to basically to decide for themselves if they want people to be able to carry or not. And it looks like they both passed their subcommittees in the Senate and the House, so they still have to be heard by the total floor. But that was just whatever, month and a half ago or whatever. So maybe they're still waiting for that. End of January. Which one's this one? Oh, this one is for it. This actually passed let's see, it passed Subcommittee House Bill 39, and that's someone who has a concealed carry permit. If their firearm becomes temporarily exposed to the ordinary sight of another person, because Florida doesn't have open carry, that would have been a crime. And this is like, as long as it's just, okay, it was an accident, your shirt rode up a little bit, and somebody saw it, you cannot get in trouble for quote unquote open carrying. So hopefully that keeps going through, because that's a good thing. And now for the bad one, which just passed the Senate. What number is that down in Florida? Senate Bill 7026. And that basically, it raises the age to buy a long gun from 18 to 21. It adds in a 3-day waiting period for rifles and shotguns. And there's also a bump stock ban / rapid fire trigger activator. And anyways, all of that passed the Senate and is over in the House right now. Like right now. So if you're in Florida, or if you travel to Florida, or if you care about the Second Amendment, tell those Florida people not to pass Senate Bill 7026, because it's completely ridiculous to take away basically an adult's rights. They just happen to be under 21. You know, if you're an adult at 18, you should have all your rights. I don't understand where the glitch is in their concept. But anyways, those are all the updates for Florida. And that's where we stand.
Yeah.
So what do you want to get into next? Movie of the day?
No, I think it's important that we focus on Florida's there that Smeggy talked about. At least from my experience on the radio recently, they're I don't know how to interpret it. They're talking today. I just happened to listen to the radio today. They're talking today like gun control is finally on the table. Finally, some gun control was passed at the Florida Senate level, and it's like they've been frothing at the mouth for a conclusion, and they found their conclusion. Are they satisfied with the Senate part of the Florida House passing something, and their like attention span is going to move along and talk about whatever Trump's so-and-so did at some level of the White House or whatever? Or are they going to pursue this and be as focused on it with all these different states that are having crazy measures? And without the high schoolers sitting in a parking lot somewhere or an assembly hall with millions of cameras focused at them, or at least important cameras focused at them, are these going to be, are they going to follow through? Are people going to really vote on it? I heard something like somebody had come up with, I forget what state, but they said something to the effect of they had come up with a law that was going to make, I don't know, I forget what the infringement was, but let's say a 3-day waiting period. And then when someone required that the votes be public, no one voted for it. Like everyone was on board with it. You know what they call multi-side of the fractions or factions or whatever. But then as soon as they said it would be a public vote, everybody was not in favor of it. So I think that if we just let this go and go, then we're repeating our history and we're expecting a different result from the same actions, right? I think that at some point we got to remind them that by bringing this stuff up, there's repercussions, there's consequences. If we don't, there's nobody else that's going to bring consequences to people. But Florida should be a no-brainer. Honestly, California's the same way, but being such a large state with resources, they could almost not care about tourism. Florida would dry up and wither away without tourism. Like we should have Florida by the nuts, even though they look like something else. But anyone who potentially travels to Florida, I think that's the key. You could bombard Florida businesses, big businesses in Florida that are interested in travel, Disney and such. Imagine if Disney had every gun owner write them a letter and say, I can travel elsewhere. I don't need to go to Florida. So if you're going to allow this to happen in Florida, and you tell the Florida senators you've sent that letter, and then when they verify it, hey, you guys getting a bunch of letters? Yeah, what's going on? What are you people doing? Like, we're not even going to get gun owners coming to Florida anymore. They might think that's great for their publicity until they get no gun owners showing up at their doors at $100 a pop.
Yeah. Well, and especially Florida seems to be a great destination for the snowbirds, right?
Yeah.
I know plenty of people from Michigan spend half their time down there. Plenty of people, any cold state. Yeah, just go to Florida for the winter. So if all those people say, "Oh, by the way, Arizona's pretty warm too," I can always go there in the winter.
I'm going to take a break. First off, to scold or scorn the, what do we have? 8 thumb thieves over on YouTube who aren't even thumbing us. But also, all these people on the Instagram, they're like, oh, we're making bubbles. They're making bubbles. No, you're making little heart signs. We think you love us. So these aren't little bubbles. You're loving us. You're in love with us. Okay, now we can move along.
You want to scorn people who love you? I'm confused.
No, I just want to clarify to them that they are loving us. They're not just watching bubbles happen. This isn't some other platform. This is Instagram. Those are hearts. Oh, they love us again. Now they gave us a giant love.
Yeah.
Make YouTube jealous?
YouTube doesn't even, they just have thumbs. They're basically, that's like rude. In some cultures, that's rude. Although in some cultures, hearts would probably be rude. Cannibalistic.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyways, can we move on to the movie of the day?
Okay. What, have you seen this movie, Smeggy?
I don't even know what it is. I just want to keep the show moving. No, I have not seen this movie. Arizona?
1940. Where did this one come? Did Daniel sneak in here again? He comes in here when we're all sleeping.
Sabotage. Saboteur. I never seen this. I thought when you said Arizona at first, I was thinking Nick Cage. What was the one where they stole the baby or whatever? But
Oh, yeah. No, that's something raised in Arizona, right?
Yeah, something.
So this looks like it's some movie with Gene Arthur and William Holden. Gene Arthur. So some super old black and white Holden movie without even John Wayne or anybody.
Are we sure Bob wasn't in this movie?
No, I remember watching it on, I think, a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. It was on TV.
1940. Look at this funny one in Russian.
They have a 3 in there. That's funny.
There's a 3 in there.
Dude, the Russians were elite hackers before it was even a thing.
So no idea how that got in there. Maybe it was a suggestion from someone.
Maybe email or something. Well, I guess what? It's a westernish type movie, seems like. Probably about Arizona.
Probably.
I would guess. I mean, it probably has some guns in it or whatever.
Yeah, it's a movie about Arizona, and yeah, there's guns in it and some gunplay. And
during the 1860s, Tucson, a pioneer woman, struggles to succeed in the freight and cattle business while at risk at the hands of corrupt and violent local businessmen and rampaging Indians. Very much like what I'm dealing with right now.
Dude, it came out on Christmas in 1940.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, oh, it's Christmas. Instead of presents or any of that business, let's go watch a weird movie about 1860s Arizona pioneer woman.
that wasn't weird in those days.
It's like the Wonder Woman of the day.
That was the family Christmas holiday back then, man.
The telegraph chats were all a flutter of like the premiere of the Arizona.
Gather around, gals. It's finally our time.
Well, I just want to say I like to cave to public opinion, so I'm going to give it 6.9 thumbs.
Oh, okay. Now they're synchronizing their heart swarms. Giving us like a stream of love.
I'll give it 1 thumb up. It's like I remember watching it.
It was
not a great movie. It had too much love interest stuff going on to keep me entertained.
George is saying when you threaten them, don't be like, I'm not going to Florida, I'm going to California, because then they just don't care. Like, I'm not going to go to Disney World. I'm going to go to Disneyland. That'll teach you. I'm giving money to that pocket instead of that pocket.
That's what you tell them you're going to go to Six Flags or something, because those are all over the place. Didn't they start in Texas or something?
That would kind of
for Texas. Texas.
You're going to Texas.
Isn't there an opportunity for Texas to make some sort of gun Disneyland? Come on, Texas.
Yeah, step your game up.
Gunnyland.
Hap is
Have it
asking,
Arlie Emery.
Hap is asking on the YouTube side if we've covered Minnesota. I don't think we've done Minnesota for State of the State, have we?
Not yet, no.
It's
That
one
I
of the
know of.
it's one of the ones that our Arizona permit doesn't cover for some reason.
That's weird.
I guess
there's
if
no
they,
reciprocity.
from Arizona, they probably think nobody from Arizona would be able to survive in Minnesota anyway.
Yeah, they figure we don't go that far north, so what's the point of bothering with them? But it bothered me because I have friends that go up there to the boundary waters, and it's annoying. I can't carry if I go up there. Although I can with Utah. Haha, checkmate, Minnesota.
So, okay, so I think we covered the movie. None of us seen except for Bob, who was in it, and he only gave it one thumb even with that.
Yep.
So let's go over to the gun of the day.
What happened to our Gun of the Day song? Without the girl here, there's no Gun of the Day song?
Yeah, apparently not. Smeggy, you're supposed to be the music when the girl's not here.
Oh, gun of the day.
Gun of the day. It's the gun of the day. What will it be? Did Forgotten Weapons do a video on it? Does Bob even know what it is? It's the gun of the day.
Jimmy, you want to do it since it's your gun?
Oh, it is? What? Glock 30. Glock 30, the modern day industrial, remarkable, engineered carry 45. It's one of my favorite carries. I've been carrying it for years now. I even talked about switching my carries, and I'm not switching it. I carried a Glock 21 full size 45 for the longest. Some people don't like it because their hands are too little. They can't handle 45 and double stack and all that. But Glock 45 or Glock 30, you have a choice between a 9-round flush fit magazine, 10-round plus one little thing that they came out with for Glock, 13 rounds, and then you can get a +2 for that, and then it'll even take the +17, so it'll be a 30 round. Yeah, 30 round that Glock makes.
Yeah, like with a Chris Mag.
Yeah, the Chris Mag.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of?
Perfection? 45 caliber Perfection?
No, a tractor. Basically like a Russian tractor, just so utilitarian and square and ugly and blocky, but it's always when you turn the crank, and it'll always drive. It'll be noisy and clunky but it'll always go. Yeah, it's a Russian tractor.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
The
So what sights you got on there? What sights you got on there, Jimmy?
Right now, I only have cheap Glock sights because the ones that it came with, they were Trigicon and it came with them, and they ended up dying out on me. And they really didn't die, but they weren't as bright as I'd like them. So I got some new Glock ones on there now. Which they're probably going to die. No. Heck, no, the night sights, Glock night sights.
No, so they're not plastic then, like Glock sights are known to be.
Nah, that's usually the first thing that I change out. That, and then I mess with the trigger. But yeah, that's a gun a day. Glock 30.
I don't see how it can be called perfection if people always have to change things on it as soon as they buy it.
The perfection part, I've explained this before, the perfection part comes into play that it's a gun. There's so many aftermarket parts. There's so much for it there's so much you can do to it, and you can make it perfect for yourself. That's where the perfection comes in.
It's not a Russian tractor then. No. It's a Chevy car. Just a generic Chevy car, like anybody and their dog and their mom drives, Yeah.
You can make it fit you perfectly, and it's going to run every single time. You don't get better than that. And you can drop it.
The hatred is strong with Bob. We'll move on.
It's all right. That's fine.
What do we hit?
Probably can't drop it if it's really cold out, right? Because it's plastic, it'll break, shatter.
No,
whatever.
Geez. I'm not even a huge fan of Glock, and even I'm getting annoyed by Bob. I don't even like stupid Glocks.
Wait until I start on the CZs.
Anyways, what about this gun shop of the day?
Oh, one of
Snap.
the reasons we do the show on the daily is so that we can feature a gun shop every day, and these are our secrets. But this is our gun shop today, and we've been going back and addressing legs of the 17 tour, getting ready for the tour this year. So today we're talking about the 14th through the 17th. That's Chicago through New York. So that's the Smeggy leg. That's what we affectionately call it. So left Chicago, whatever day that was, the 14th, I guess, headed east, and basically made the decision after dropping another $3,000 on that transmission to go ahead and follow through, go to the museum or to the castle. So headed east out of Chicago and passed a couple of gun shops on the way out of town, and then went to Copper Custom in Indiana. I think we looked at them yesterday or this week or something. And then I guess that would have been yesterday. Then we went to Detroit, hung out with Smeggy for a bit, left Detroit and went down to Toledo, and then across into Pennsylvania. It was kind of an interesting drive because by the time I got to Pennsylvania, it was evening, and I was doing fine, awake and everything, and I had internet, so I was able to stay in a live lobby with Pink pretty much the entire drive from West Pennsylvania to East Pennsylvania that night. Kind of drove the whole state that evening, was online live the whole time, maybe a couple of times between towers or something it would kick out for a moment and then jump right back in, and Pink helped me like kind of would you say like help me be like co-pilot from remote, and help me figure out where to go in or where to head, since it was all unknown territory, and that was pretty fun. So hopefully people that were in the chat had some fun with it, and definitely helped pass the time. And anyway, got out to Pennsylvania, ended up getting out there in record time, so was there basically a day early. In that time, we found out with help of John in New York that you actually do have to have appointments to go to the castle. So that's when we figured out I got there a day before I could even get an appointment to visit, which worked out. We got to see some shops in Pennsylvania, got to go meet up with Angry the day that he was moving from Pennsylvania to Arizona, which was kind of cool. Went back to Scranton for that. And then I think this leaves off as I met up with John from Gun Channels at the castle. We went over on the boat and spent the day on the island with the castle. Had a great time. Left there and headed south into Pennsylvania to go around stupid New Jersey. I didn't want to drive in New Jersey with guns, and met up with Moon, and then headed down to hook up with Marco in Maryland. So that was that leg of the tour, sort of the money shot of the tour, going to the castle after, I think 2012 was when I first started really wanting to visit the castle as it started to fall down. So I guess 5 years later, finally got to see it. It was awesome. Definitely worth it if you're ever able. It's something you want to check out. It's definitely worth checking out. And then got to go down and hang out with Marco a bit, and then we'll talk about that next time. That was a whole nother adventure. So we're kind of chopping the trip up into these little segments and talking about them here and there during this show as our gun shop of the day. But that's the whole point, is to talk about different gun shops. And along the way, of course, we saw 60 gun shops on that tour. I'm hoping to see even more this year.
Well, and you have a place on the Gun Show Loophole Tour website where people can suggest gun shops, right?
Yeah, thanks. So I'll throw that up on the screen here as we jump over there.
And it's just a nice way to keep everything together. I mean, I know sometimes you'll see comments on the YouTube side or in the live chat or on an Instagram post be like, "Oh, you should have checked out so-and-so's gun shop when you were in town." It's like, well, that's good information to have before you head out and try and plan stuff.
And it's always going to be an effort, maybe years down the road we'll have it all figured out. But yeah, thanks for mentioning that. If you go to the website, gunshowloopholetour.com, on the main page, either under locations or tour log, the last item in the list there is suggest a location. And yeah, let us know ideas, hopefully along our route, but even if they're not, throw them in there. It doesn't cost nothing. Let us know what it is. And then if there's something going on, give us a date, so if we can work it into a calendar as well as the map, and as much information as you can or want to give us about it. Yeah, and that helps a lot. In fact, most of the cool stuff we've ever found, including the J.M. Davis Firearms Museum, is thanks to doing these tours, these trips with the audience as a collaborative effort, and people recommending them. So that's how we find everything good, pretty much.
Yep. And I just noticed RL suggesting a thing saying, "Oh, you drove right past it. You should have stopped by at so and so." Well, put it in there. If he's over that side of the country again,
Yeah,
it was stop in.
it's true, man. That's
And
what.
they're asking what castle over there as well. That was the Bannerman Castle. We've talked about it quite a bit on the show before, but basically the dude invented military surplus like as a business, and he kept all his stuff in a castle.
That's to sum it up. Yeah, he started out in the Civil War just grabbing stuff out of the water and then reselling it, and then that turned into the largest surplus business. He actually helped the government figure out that they could sell stuff instead of just throwing it away, and then started bidding on all that stuff. He ended up buying everything from the Spanish-American War, or the War of 1812 or something, and then yeah, had it all in New York. They told him to get it out of there because it would have blown up the city. He moved it to an island and basically invented the whole concept of surplus stores and that kind of thing, military surplus collecting. Really neat story.
Yeah, very cool.
It's a castle because the guy was born in Scotland or something, so he's just old and had money and thought it was cool. He had a warehouse and then started to ornament it to look like a castle. So he didn't really build a castle from overseas or something cool. He just made his warehouse kind of look like a castle. And it's on an island in the Hudson River, and the railroad track goes right past it. So a lot of people that commute or drive up there for the view see it. It's right north of West Point, so it's became sort of a, what do they call that?
Yeah.
Destination point or whatever.
It was
All right,
quite-
well, so, that's our gun shop today. Again, we try to feature a gun shop every single day. That's one of the reasons we do the show on the daily. So anytime you have suggestions, you can always email them to us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. Ideally, we'd talk about how many shows are there? 250 gun shops each year or something like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll hit them all. Then we'll start going around again.
Too true.
That's our everything.
Yeah, that's it, man. Other than what goes on tomorrow.
Well, except for history. Bob hates history. We should know that by now. He always likes to blow it out.
Tired of it.
He lived through half of it, you know.
So today is March 6th. Birthday is stupid Luger. It was 9mm. But other stuff happened today as well. So we're going to go through and take a look at some of that. We'll start back in 322 BC. 322 years BC. The Greek philosopher Aristotle died today in 322 BC. How often do we get a BC number thing?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius became emperor of Rome, I guess, in 161, year 161. That reminds me of the phone number joke or whatever, back when there was very few phones. You'd call up the operator, be like, "Can I talk to 7?"
Yeah.
I keep trying to dial 7. All right, so there was some other neat stuff in here, I thought. We need some kind of reading through the time history thing music. Oh, here it is. 1933, the board game Monopoly was invented. Also in 1933, King Kong, the movie, came out. So did you know that those things happened on the same day in the same year, 1933?
That's crazy. Did you know that the game Monopoly was supposed to be like an anti-capitalist game and teach people like how evil like stocking up stuff and getting monopolies are, and instead
Really?
that's the dude who invented it was like a huge like socialist kind of guy, and he was trying to show how evil capitalism is.
I think I have watched a show on Monopoly, but it was more of like the game and how it's been such a phenomenon or whatever. It didn't really talk about that, I don't think. Or I didn't remember that part.
Probably kind of an embarrassment for the guy. I wonder if he just sold the rights to it or what happened.
I think that's what happened. Somebody invented it and sold it to the company or whatever that makes it. Because I remember something like that about it. Like there was maybe a couple of 1979, Voyager 1 reaches Jupiter. 1979.
Yeah, Voyager 2 is actually ahead of Voyager 1.
Hmm.
Even though
Voyager One was farting around on Jupiter for so long. Oh, we just hit the hour mark. There goes Instagram. 75 viewers on Instagram, 33 viewers on YouTube's, 24 thumbs. You know how many thumb thieves that is?
I love thumb thieves. They're so funny.
Does it tell you how many hearts you got by when the thing ends?
Oh, there's no way to count that many hearts. They love us so much on the Instagram. It's just like we don't even want to do it on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I liked Ghost's idea of trying to do 3-round bursts. It was challenging. Sometimes you only hit twice, sometimes you hit it 4 times.
All right, so I think that's the history. That's all the other topics of the show. We're right about an hour. What are we missing? I threw a couple of new items up on the Gear website store, and jump over there if you want to grab some of the first runs, the prototype runs actually, because I'm probably going to sell the prototypes of the 2018 AK Pro patch. Also, I got some other designs that I've been farting around with. I bought the new software again, so I'm gonna make my money back on paying off that software.
Well, very cool. Do you happen to sell windbreakers over on Gear websites or no?
Well, I tried selling a windbreaker one time, but it's so much thread that it wasn't worth it in the long run.
Dude, okay, you just kind of said that joke, but you should make a windbreaker patch.
A windbreaker patch?
Yeah, like make a patch of a windbreaker and we could give it away to the winner.
What the heck is that? Like a woodpecker?
I'm trying to make it. I don't know. I don't got my regular sound effect, so it's just like that right now.
It sounds like Smeggy trying to drum.
It sounds like he's got like a nervous leg.
It sounds like a bump fire or something, like where you don't get it quite right.
Oh, if they're listening before, probably shouldn't even listen to that sound effect.
Yeah, I don't think we should say they might got strike. I'm sorry if we did. But yeah, everybody kind of knows what that sound means, sorta, I guess, maybe. It's time to crack them knuckles, whip out them keyboards, and get ready for the daily tactical pop quiz.
I feel like I'm really doing a disservice to our viewers, because let's say that they were out, minding their business, and then some kind of gunfire erupted like that. Instead of like ducking for cover or like responding with, return fire, I feel like they're gonna be looking for a keyboard. We've drained them to look for a keyboard and a mouse.
Gonna instantly pull up Google on their phone.
So I'll
He died
change it up a little
looking
bit.
at Google.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone, officer. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so I'll change it up a little bit. It's time to crack them knuckles, whip out them keyboards, check all your exits, and make sure that no one's behind you, and get ready for the daily tactical pop quiz.
Why are they guessing already?
Fake guesses.
Yeah, today is a completely off the wall one, and all is so I wasn't prepared, and so there we go. So up to date as of this second right now, and the answer probably could be found on the Instagrams, coincidentally enough. How many states are involved in the early watch right now? How many different states do we have?
You're talking about the chain of breakfast restaurants?
Talking about the emails and all that.
Acht?
I guess state.
Sieben?
Well,
Sieben?
There we go.
Knowing.
We got the answer.
Yeah, whoever said 9 is right.
Yep, Ghost Tactical.
Is that cheating because he's done all 9 logos?
Well, he just finished up with the 9th one, so I don't. Technically, no.
I don't know.
All right, man.
Clear. I haven't taken mine to the bank yet. Did it clear for you?
Anyways, good job, Ghost Tactical. You got the correct answer of 9. There are 9 early watch states, which of course is kind of an organization of people from all around the place for Second Amendment type stuff. It's a big email chain, and there's Instagram things, and kind of people are taking responsibility of kind of getting in charge of their own state and keeping up on everything. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm super impressed too. Like all the work that's been put in so far on the Twitters, on the Instagrams, on the news articles that have been coming in, and all that stuff. So yeah, everyone's
On the
working
Every
together.
Second Matters cough.
That's next. We're working on that. We're working on that.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, so cool.
yeah. So
Thanks, Ghost too.
by being awesome and being faster than all these other people that guessed wrong, that makes you the tactical hot shit of the day.
Anybody else think he was kind of phoning that in?
Yeah, whatever. I thought it was kind of louder than I normally do.
With all that lead up and everything.
I have a.
Is he picking a patch out there? Is he patch picking?
I don't know. Go pick a patch. But
we're locked on, waiting for a pitch patch. Wait, am I still screen sharing or am I blank?
Yeah, you ain't screen sharing. The only patch he sees is Daily Gun Show.
Boom. How about that one? How about that?
There you go.
Start your patch picking.
Well, while he's doing that, I got a super bonus, approved, unofficial. You don't win jack, but I'm going to ask anyways. How many moons does Saturn have?
This is very wrong. This panel is very wrong. I think I have an old one up here.
So, anyone want some bragging rights?
8 is not the answer.
No, it is not 8.
30 viewers is what we have.
No, 9. 9.
You guys are like way low, just for the record.
Is Ghost the one that won?
Yeah, Ghost won.
Yes.
1776 is long gone. Long gone. We need another one. Need another guess. Pick a patch. Pick a patch.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a tip so you don't have to keep typing for a million years. It's a double digit. You guys are way low. 42 is actually pretty close.
Way low.
Still too low, but.
All right. What else are we talking about while we let him pick a patch? 30. We're losing viewers. We're hemorrhaging viewers like blood out of a arterial wound. Let's get a topic tourniquet on this thing. Stat.
Well, I don't think we have other topics to go. We could talk about what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah, why don't you do that, Smeg?
Oh, Jesus. I was watching for the answer, but anyways, tomorrow is Wednesday.
62 confirmed.
Yeah, the answer is 0. The Earth is flat.
Boom. There is no Mars or whatever he said.
I was looking for 53 moons, so Clover Tech got it right. But if I can't even get to this.
In gun channels, there's only one moon.
Yes. Crap, we're gonna have to do this off of memory. So Wednesday, there's
Moon gets all our Instagram hearts.
For sure.
Is he picking a patch? I'm sick of having to click stuck on here. What does that number sign mean?
Looks like the hash tactical, maybe? Is that you got that up there?
The hash tactical? I think I got a few of those. We'll work something out. All right, finally I can click.
Excellent. So, let's see. We got what's the first one on Wednesday? That's the shooting youth one? Clover Tech's?
Doesn't Ellis come out on Wednesdays, or am I mistaken?
No. Why don't you be right more? It is
it's Clover and Matt, ain't it? And that's it.
Rhode Island.
Oh, Rick, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Rick's Life as I See It does a chat.
Oh wait, no. Ellis, the old Ellis, did say that he changed his times up today, but I kept talking over him, so I don't remember what he said. He kept insisting when I was saying stuff.
So Ellis has a different time or whatever. Yeah, then obviously Never Enough Ammo. We don't need to promote his show. He gets a gazillion views anyways, but that's his politics and gun chat that's still 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm doing pretty bad at this because I don't have a good memory. So there's a bunch of shows on tomorrow.
He can tell you what's on Tuesdays, especially at a certain amount of time. But
I can only tell you one show on Tuesday. Tuesday night's 9 o'clock, hit or miss. But isn't the Moon and Smeggy show on Wednesday? Yeah, maybe Pants.
The pre-show, the warm-up show.
That's when they prep for the Saturday show.
When they get their costumes and their various makeups and stuff ready, they do a behind the scenes, their art people do a show. So you get behind the scenes getting rehearsed for the dance scenes and whatnot.
Yeah, but that's a good point.
Wardrobe
There
change.
may be a Smeggy Cave chat. I mean, there very well could be a Pink or Mr. Knives doing chats, and
Do they even do chats anymore?
I'm not sure. I know Smeggy Cave does chats.
I know Smeggy does the quality chat with actual gun chat and like adults. That's a pretty good chat.
Yeah, that one is pretty good. So,
I did call
yeah,
them
sorry, I completely butchered this, but
like
whatever.
when I'm inviting the ladies, I'll just say I'll meet you at the cave, and then they know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. And
Uh-huh.
just for anyone listening, if you're wondering, like, hey, what the heck? How'd you get into the cave? Just send me a message over on Gun Channels. You go over there, sign in down at the bottom, says chat, pull that up, click on the name, say, hey, can I get a link? And then I'll send you a link through there.
If you're cool, if you're lame, then he just ignores you and act like he didn't hear you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that out loud, but basically.
Yep.
Although I feel bad because I ignored Mr. Knives, and I like knives. I just didn't see the thing because I didn't have that tab open for a while.
What he said.
Thank you very much. So we have 6 people who participated in helping out Mr. Knives, and if you don't know who Mr. Knives is, so 6 people out of the February participated in grabbing a knife sticker. 6 people total. It's not like there's a whole bunch of people in March that got one either. But thank you very much to the 6 people who bought a knife sticker. $20 out of each sticker, $20 out of the 25 went to knives. It was just PayPal. So really appreciate that. And I'm sure Knives is saying thank you as well. But one of the things I did as an incentive and to say thanks again, because we did get some stuff donated, was to offer a holster of your choice from the selection we have here, which are $60 to $100 something holsters. The only qualifiers, they're all for Glock 19s, but even if you get it and you don't have a Glock 19, you could probably pass it along to someone who might, and you're giving them a nice holster. Anyway, we wanted to do a random giveaway. So I'm just looking at my 6 people over here, and I'm going to move that out of the way so I don't show it to everybody with their email addresses. And then I'll screen share and we'll go to random. And we will put in the number 6. And should we go top or bottom? On the top?
I say top.
All right, so generate 4 from the top is first order, second order, third order, fourth order is Rich. So Rich, thank you very much for supporting Knives. I will get in touch with you and find out if you want this holster set. I don't know if he wants me telling people who it came from, but it's a very nice holster set. You'll get your choice of a couple of different ones. Where did I post those? I posted them on the 24-hour gun show, which is dead at the moment. So can't show you the pictures online right now, but we'll send them to Rich. And again, thanks to people who threw $20 in, for crying out loud, $25 in to help out Knives. Has been doing a live chat now for years, I think. And unlike Pink, who's doing it on his way to work, not that Pink isn't putting in a tremendous amount of effort, literally changed the face of gun channels doing it, but Knives is obviously in a different position. So thank you very much to those 6 people out of the 5,000 members of gun channels, the dozens, not to mention the people that hang out in his chat nightly. Very few of those people, but 6 people threw some money down for Knives. Really appreciate that. That's what the community's all about. Thank you to those 6 people. And thanks to Smeggy, because I didn't want to forget to keep doing it. I keep forgetting to do that.
Oh, no problem. Glad I could spark your memory. And that'll still be a thing, right? Like, it's not like it wasn't like a limited time run or whatever. Like, people can still get it.
Basically, every 7 holsters, I'll throw out another random holster, and only 6 people ever did it. So there's still stickers over there if anybody wants to say thanks to Knives. I understand that his chats are not as good as the cave, but he's definitely.
Yeah, because I planned on getting one. I just didn't get one at the current moment.
Yeah, he has been at it a whole lot longer than some recent newcomers. But yeah, Knives is the good guy, so help support him. And on that note, I think we're ready to wrap this up with our quote of the day, which is
like, thumb, share, subscribe.
Jacques Cousteau. Sorry. Jacques Cousteau. So famous.
I think he says Cousteau.
No, not Costanza. Cousteau.
No, like that.
Cousteau. Jacques.
Come on, it's going to take him 20 minutes to read the quote anyways. We really have to interrupt him.
All right. That's right. Shut up. We're running way over time. So anyway, before I say the quote, I would just like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. If you can, support us on Patreon. Helps keep the show going. Anyway, let's get on with our quote. People protect what they love. Jacques Cousteau. It's very true. And that's kind of what the Second Amendment's about. Having the ability to protect what you love. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.